question is like, what are the heroes that right here? Okay, we're gonna just scratch off the reference itself as a
kita
player
masuk
itself,
di
right?
game pertama
Let's see
antara
the heroes that
Malaysia
should be
versus
aware of or
Iran,
should be just taken out from the
Mlbb
pool itself.
Women ya.
Let's see what heroes
Kita lihat
we need to
first
be
pick buat
concerned about. If we're
Iran.
sticking to the typical meta, firstly, it's going to be jungler picks are right now quite limited. It's mainly Hayabusa, Lancelot, and then Fanny. But Fanny is quite typically banned out. Besides that, because of the fighter gold lane meta, you get to see quite a lot of fighters being prioritized. They're not usually banned out because it's kind of difficult to get rid of most of them. But then you will get to see certain picks being removed depending on how well their opponent will perform with them, right? So we'll see things like the Lapu Lapu or the Arlet, right? Sometimes we see Alice show up. Yuzong also getting quite popular under recent days. Hilda also recently getting a small adjustment. I don't think it's too much of a buff. It's more of a bug fix than anything, but can be a quite solid pick if you are dealing with something like an assassin in the opposite jungle.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And we're kind of actually getting a little bit of technical issue right here as the fact that we're not going to be able to see the banning phase. However, unfortunately, I'm really quite sad about that, but we do apologize right here from our own desk as well as for the production. Not to worry, probably we'll be able to see it sooner or later. Hopefully they'll be able to fix it out as soon as possible. But then again, let's just going in wondering what it's going to be. This is like mind games for us to actually read out what are the strategies coming in from Iran as well as Malaysia.
It does mean that we're basically going to be surprised once we actually do jump into the game, right? What kind of hero picks are actually Oh, hold on. All right, we've got the update. Thank you very much, everyone, for being patient. Now let us analyze Team Iran. Gonna be going with Gatot Kaca, Alice, and Granger. Whereas Malaysia having Kim, Rock, and Isan Shin.
Wow. Okay.
Ada Alice, Granger, Iesf Wec25, hero yang di-ban ada Baxia, Cici, Jusin, Hayabusa, Valentina. Terus ada Lancelot, Yuzong, Angela, Esmeralda. Terus satu lagi tuh apa tuh?
Giving a little bit of response after the two players or two heroes been picked out. Alice as well as Granger is a very good response coming in, and now with YSS already been picked out, we're going in for the second phase of banning.
I got a response to you there because Eve is just straight off a good pick.
Really?
Like she is just one of the best mid laners in the meta currently. And probably one of the safest ones to actually start with because yes, she's quite vulnerable standing in the back, but she's still generally more durable than other mages, especially when paired together with a hero like Rock. I already mentioned earlier, Team Malaysia likes going for more team fight styles, so this already lines up with that. And by going with the Isan Shin in the jungle as well, they actually open themselves up for potential double fighter side lane matchup, which allows them to deal with hero picks like the Granger and Alice, which require a little bit more time to get scaled.
Yeah, definitely. So this is pretty much Malaysia trying to put out a little bit of strategy like you gotta go in for the fast pace. If you're not actually able to control the game from the start, it might actually give an opportunity for Iran to actually come back again. So these are the crucial questions coming in from Malaysia to control the wave, control the team fight earlier on. Now going into the banning phase right now, we do see that Hayabusa. We talked about how Hayabusa, one of the junglers, had been taken out and very, very prioritized for the banning phase, or even to be taken in as well. If you want to actually prioritize it to be used, also good. But now, going into all the been completed, and now we got Fredrin as well as Farsa, and I think was that the Ruby right
It was.
The Ruby.
It was the Ruby Lapu Lapu, so Team Malaysia is actually going for the double fighter side lane composition, and it's going to be very powerful because they already have a solid mid-game lineup with the Eve and the Grok. One thing that they could be lacking is general independence because this team is going to need to play together a lot of time to make things happen, but they're not going to be punished for that too much because Team Iran is playing a more default lineup. They're going for tank jungler with Fredrin to try and set up for Granger's late game scaling.
But that is just our analysis right now. It's in their hands. Let's give it up.
Pakai si bank itu mudah. Buka rekeningnya mudah. Ada transfer gratis sampai dengan 100 kali dan ada bunga cair harian.
For the two teams here for our first series again, welcome to the World Esports Championship.
lihat guys.
Malaysia versus Iesf.
Perempuan pakai assumption guys.
Game 1 about to begin in grand fashion right here, ladies and gentlemen. So for anyone watching at home, place your bets right now.
Apa?
Guess
Dia
which of
jago.
these two teams is going to come out on top in game number 1. But once again, we can jump into the land of dawn here, do a little bit of analysis. On paper, Malaysia should have the advantage towards the early mid-game stage, because that is the general purpose of the double fighter side lane comp in the first place. But they do have to worry about ganks. The Gatot Farsa duo can instantly burst someone down if they're not prepared for it.
Yeah, that's kind of true though. So again, you've talked about how Team Navi or Team Malaysia, to begin with, the fact that they are prioritizing on micro gaming, micro style, where they need to be sticking together. If they want to actually go for the team fight, it's not going to be easy as a solo or individual itself. So coming in right now, as we see, seems like they are going to actually go out with Rina as well as Shah. A little bit too extension, but then again, not to worry because it's still earlier on. Everybody is still on a level 3. Not much of the damage that can actually put out, and now they're still waiting for 3 seconds of the turtle to be spawned out.
Team Malaysia is definitely the one
Kita
that
lihat
wants to
turtle
create
pertama.
momentum on their side. Again, playing double fighter side lane, having strong team fight heroes like Rock and Eve comboing together means that in general, they will have the advantage during objective battles. It's very difficult for Team Iran to walk up if there's enough members of Malaysia around, but they're still going to try.
Lihat tuh.
Oh, they're definitely going to try and going all out. Right there, Mountain Shocker straight away, able to get the turtle first. Oh, RWM put out Gad, Lishka for the first blood, as well as now they're not going to allow any Sturgeon coming in. Nil will be taken off for the second kill as well. No, he was
Iran
able
nih
to
kayak
move in. She is
nggak
able to
ini sih
back up.
guys.
Only one casualty was able to steal away by Team
Kayak
Malaysia.
nggak
That
sinkron
was
gitu
definitely
ya.
still a win for Team Malaysia, but Team Iran was able to get away without losing as much as I would have expected there. It was a very good initiation from Neil, actually got a 3-man throne of a ruin right there inside the turtle pit, but unfortunately, she went just a little bit too far. The rest of the team is not able to catch up in time because they do have 2 slower frontliners, and without them, it's very difficult for them to actually try and disrupt the positioning of Team Malaysia. Because of that, it was very easy for them to make sure that Rina was still able to secure the retry timing on the turtle, and then the RLM just locked them in. It's lucky that Team Iran didn't actually lose more there.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I think pretty much that Team Malaysia had actually control every single motion, and despite the fact that Neil was able to get away with 3 players already contesting it, or even try to actually conquering her movement, he was able to back off very quickly and safely with a little bit of leeway. But at the same time, right here, that Sherry wants to go in all out to push in Honey, but that's just going to be a little bit of push and pull from the side of Iran towards Malaysia. But and again, seems like Neil push out, mobilize Rina as well as Shah. But then again, 4 players already stacked up. They're waiting for the team of Malaysia. But knowing for a fact that right here, Yuki says, nah, putting out the wall straight away to say, back off from my teammates.
I'm liking the rotations here from Team Malaysia. You know that the turtle is coming up in 15 seconds. You see the gank coming in. Neil even committing the Throne of Ruin means that most likely the other members of Team Iran are nearby. Even though it looked like they were in a 2v1 situation, they knew that they would probably be outnumbered since they didn't have vision of anyone else on the map. And by doing that, they keep their entire team alive. All of their cooldowns available as well. This should be a very easy turtle take once again.
Definitely great conquering coming in from Frankie himself. The fact that literally a great zoning, denying every entrance, every movement coming in from Iran, and the fact that okay, here's the thing about
Tapi ini kan beda, ini kan
Malaysia, right?
udah
Papa is
e-sport
all
guys.
alone, is able to actually just counter
Kalau
off
yang biasa-biasa
Hana.
tuh ya
Was
bukan
able
tuh.
to back away without the ball right there. Sky as well, gonna pull in the mighty swing throughout her, but again, it's not gonna be a quick fight for the team of Malaysia as they're just trying to actually chew away Iran's position.
Orang-orangnya kan udah
Taking this
terlatih.
slow, but they know that they need to continue pushing on the pressure right here. Looks like they're gonna try and engage on the Grok.
Gonna go in for Yuki right there. But again, Yuki doesn't need to worry much because the fact that he'll be able to go in, goes for the
dapat
dash straight away,
4
gets 3, but at the same time, oh, Bobo gets the Fauna, but at the same time, can't change the fight. RWM put up by Honey, but Jerry takes fire off first. But now, Mighty swing as much as possible to this guy, doesn't gonna do anything because Kana gets Yuki, and Honey doesn't have the ball up. But the Mountain Shocker by Rina for the backup, and now Kana will be the next victim for the double kill itself.
sedikit
sequence of
telat
events
sih
right there. Iran, honestly,
Iesf-nya.
good call to actually try and engage on that since they knew that the rest of Team Malaysia were on the opposite side of the map. But unfortunately, because they are a scaling composition, they weren't able to burst down the members of Team Malaysia long enough. Then we got to see the massive combo of the Tectonic Charge into the I'm Offended AOG, while Iran was still coming out on top because Rina and Shao were not part of that fight. It lasted long enough that the Yi Sun-shin was able to make it over and get the cleanup in, which means that Team Malaysia still does come out on top, and that's an excellent timing as well, because the next turtle is going to be up in another 15 seconds.
Looking at the side of Malaysia right now as they're able to actually get 2 turrets, not only from the top as well as the bottom. Now more conquering of the engagement as well as the land of Dom from the side of Malaysia. Iran find their best to make sure that the middle turret will not be break through. A lot of the ways
Tuh lihat,
clear
Iesf
out
udah
for
turtle.
themselves, especially Nirvana not allowing it. But again, with them trying to actually make sure all the wave will not come to their own turret, it will give all the opportunity a free turtle straight away in the hands of Malaysia.
We're at the stage of the game right now where Team Iran is unfortunately going to need to give up a little bit of their mid-game in order to make sure that they're still able to farm up. The goal right now is to basically sacrifice farm on the rest of the members in order to make sure they can funnel as much as possible into Kana on this Granger. Luckily for them, the gold lead still isn't the biggest right now. It's only a few thousand in favor of Team Malaysia, so it is still possible for them to make a comeback as long as they don't lose too much more map control. It's going to be difficult to achieve that because Malaysia is definitely starting to put on the pressure.
A lot of pressure, a lot of thorns been put out by Lisicka, but still it's not going to be enough to actually
Wah,
stop
berat
every
lah, guys.
movement of Malaysia.
Nih,
This is
turret
where we
ada
talk
pada
about how the
hancur-hancur kayak gitu.
macro gaming, the team fight, they will stick together, make sure they contest
Menang
each and
sini
every single
Malaysia
turret.
tuh.
And again, the mid lane finally has been break, so the first layer of turret has already been conquered by Team Malaysia. Getting closer and closer, they'll be able to actually even steal some of
Tapi
the
ya
buffs. Not only
masih
all, some, all of
80%
the
ya.
buff might be in the hands of Team
Bisa
Malaysia
jadi Iran
already.
juga
And
menang ya.
again, the Team Iran somehow looks a little
Itu
bit
Alis
lost
sakit
at
ya
their
nanti.
moment with the
Alis
crucial
bacot
stage.
kaca.
Yeah, Team Iran unfortunately going to have a very difficult time even
Kayak
finding
Freddy
any
level
space on the
12
map right
juga
now. And this
sakit
is
nanti.
one of the benefits of going for the Yi Sun-shin with the double fighter side lane composition. You have a lot of heroes that can operate generally independently, and that means that you can spread your grip over the map a lot more easily. Iran playing a more classic lineup, relying very heavily on this Farsa and Granger to do damage, means that their backline is always going to be vulnerable to dives.
Oh, and look at that. They're literally giving an opportunity, but again, they put out the frontal strikes right here, but at the same time, it's not going to be enough just to give a little bit of clearing of the minion wave. They're just letting off a little bit of breather for Iran to have their own space. But again, lots of the turrets already been taken out by Team Malaysia. Now they're looking forward for the mid as well. Not the taunts here, but at the same time, Mighty Swing comes in and Honey takes down straight away. RDM been put out and Team Iran is a little bit scared. They had to back up. Mountain Shocker takes down Neil immediately, getting 1 kill for themselves.
A very systematic movements right there from Team
Look
Malaysia. Shah
lagi,
dive in, cut
reload.
they line in half. Didn't allow Iran to walk up the defender tier 2, and even timed the Raging Slash to make sure that she could anti-CC the AOG coming in. Neil tried to go for dive because it is going to be the front line for Team Iran. But unfortunately, with the lack of damage and the positioning right now, it is very difficult for them to actually put up a fight in these direct 5v5s. Team Malaysia are right now on a direct shot to victory. And Team Iran's gonna need to pray for something big to happen here in order to turn this around.
Oh, definitely. Any mistakes that's coming in from Team Malaysia might actually be the key solution for Team Iran. But then again, looking how clean so far, every movement that was done already from Team Malaysia, that's a miracle for Team Iran if they want to do something right here. Again, getting a lot of economy-wise already on the upper hands for Team Malaysia. They've already got all the turtles. A lot is marching in, and this is just the first lot coming in. And known for a fact, the first lot is not as powerful as the second as well as the third. Yet it might be enough to actually break the middle turret. The inhibitor turrets right here will be breaking really for the whole defense. But again, they're coming in straight away. Honey takes down Kana. RWM straight away, but it's some AOG takes down 2. But unfortunately, it's going to be Yuki, the only one to be sacrificed. Now trying to push in. Rifafa try to go in for the offended, but unfortunately not going to be able to take anyone. Team Iran goes back to the middle with Chris Crystal already been an opportunity to the side of the team Lot, and as well, Lot has crashed, but Farfall still away deal, and now they're pushing in even more. Are they going to actually deny it immediately? But Sherry trying to pull away, trying to make sure that shot does not. Feather Strike trying to be open up to actually shoo away the team of Mars, but Malaysia still surviving. Crystal just a little bit more if they can actually pull through. Rina looking forward to Kana, but doesn't manage to take her down, so she had to pull away to the fountain, but did manage to take down Sherry instead, and Lishika will be the next victim for the mega kill of Rina. And again, the Crystal will be first, and it is going to be the first win to Team Malaysia.
Malaysia woman sama yang laki-lakinya nih. Forcing your way to victory right there. Legitimately a ridiculous call being made right there by Team Malaysia to full dive behind the middle inhibitor while the Lord is still trying to break it down. They could have been punished super hard for that, but I also respect that they made the decision. They knew that their lineup might start dropping off if they allow the game to last too long. So they decided, we're going to take this risk right now. We're going to use the lead that we have built up throughout the game